Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. I'm finally getting you the Starlink video that I promised for a long time now. Um, so how does Starlink fit into the whole radio deal? Because I redid the channel as ham radio and GMRS, but also emergency radio communications. And Starlink is probably the best option for having an emergency internet access that you could have. The only requirements to keep Starlink up and running, in this case the Starlink Mini, are about 40 watts worth of power and a view of the north sky. Now, if the satellite array that provides Starlink goes down, we have bigger problems to deal with, and we're not going to be worrying about all of this. But if there is a cataclysmic earthquake or power outage or hurricane go through, as happened here in East Tennessee and Western North Carolina, cell towers went down. Some radio repeaters went down, but many stayed, and so amateur radio was a good workable communication method. But there was no internet for days, and there were great disruptions for all communications. And so Starlink, want to just kind of say thank you, Elon Musk, for sending Starlink into the area of Western North Carolina and East Tennessee, especially, and making access free for initially it was for 1 month, and now it's, I think, until the end of the year for those areas that have been affected by the storms. Um, it was a great tool to a lot of the search and rescue operations, a lot of the people bringing aid in from outside, and as far as getting infrastructure back and the ability to do those health and welfare checks in and out, it greatly increased the bandwidth of being able to check on people and find out who's okay. People would go to the local Publix, maybe, where there was a Starlink and internet, and they would charge their phones, and they would, visit the restrooms, and they would use the internet, and they were able to let people know, hey, we're doing okay. It's a little rough over here, but we're still here. And that was very important. Um, I had a client in the area that needed internet before their main provider came back online, because in our area the main provider was not giving a lot of detail about how long it would take. Some areas were saying power may be out for 6 months, um, and cable and fiber and all those other good things are going to follow the restructuring of the lines, and so we didn't know what to expect. And so I got a hold of a Starlink Mini. The main reason I chose the Mini is it has a smaller power consumption, and it is designed to work with a package from Starlink that allows you to be mobile. And so if you wanted to strap it to the top of the car, I've seen people do that, and have internet on the go directly from satellite. I can't imagine the performance is great all the time that way, but I haven't tested that out. In any case, what you're going to see is the unboxing of it initially, and then we've got a couple of segments of me doing my initial setup of it out in the parking lot and getting signal. I didn't activate it at that time because I was waiting to see what the answers from support were as to whether I could get it on the unlimited package, which was going to be free for my client to make use of. It turns out support didn't exactly have the right answer for me there, because I was able to activate it on essentially one of the free packages for the hurricane relief area, and it's still currently activated on that. It performed well. We have already pulled it out of service at that location, and it was a successful run while they needed it. Their main service provider has come back up at this point, and we kind of phased that one out, and I have kept it as part of my emergency preparation kit, that basically all I need is 40 watts of power and a clear view of the north sky, and we can have internet in a crisis. And so combine that with amateur radio and local repeaters, and maybe some of your HF nets for emergency communications, and you have quite a few options to get word in and out of places that are disaster struck. Anyway, I think it's a great option. Thanks to Starlink and Elon Musk for providing many free units and this 30-day and then 3-month basically free for our region. It's been a great help to all of us. And so with that, I'll let the video roll, and then I'll check back with you before the final segment and give you some summaries on it. Gigabytes data you get. It may be that they do have an unlimited, which is a little bit more. But I wanted to go ahead and do an unbox because, I don't know about you, but I want to see what's in it when we first get it. And here we have some pictures of the star. I don't, let me move this a little bit. Okay. We have some pictures of the Starlink and of, moving this so we can get our power cable in. There's our wall adapter. It does come with a wall adapter. However, there's a barrel plug like you would find on um, any DC electronic device. They make an adapter for a 12-volt cigarette lighter to this. They make an adapter for a USB-C charger to this. Believe it or not, USB-C chargers can go up to 65 watts. The catch with that, make sure that the equipment that you get to work with your Mini is actually going to support the wattage that you need. Very important. All right, sorry about that. Um, so continuing through, we have a little pictorial on setting up the Wi-Fi. I presume with the QR code. You've got the app on the phone, which I actually went ahead and installed, by the way. And they help you to align it. A view of the northern sky is the recommended placement. You notice it's on a prop here. I have noticed some of the emergency personnel that I've seen throughout the mountains placing it either on a dash or on the roof of the car. Some of them have suction cup mounts to keep it there. But this is a small, you notice it's going to be in the footprint of this area, which is, I mean, 8 by 10 sheet of paper almost. Not bad size wise to place. And then they do have some instructions down here for attaching a pipe mount. I'll give you a little bit of a look at that. It looks like it slides in place. It gives access to the power and the Ethernet ports. There is a bypass Ethernet port. And it also gives you a screw there for pipe mounting. And the thing about the pipe mounting, this is a pretty common thing for um, being able to mount a lot of devices. Um, and I don't know, this might be useful. Um, I know if you're camping, you're probably going to be perching it closer to the ground. I have on the way a tripod adapter that will adapt to a traditional camera tripod, and so you use the three-legged tripod to get it set up. So lots of options there. Um, Obviously, outside is the way to go. I may do an experiment inside just for fun and see what the performance is like, if any. I'm not optimistic. This building that we're in has a metal roof, and so it's not very friendly to radio waves, especially higher frequency weak signals.
So let's see. We also have the instructions there and the depiction of it being mounted on the tower and facing up to the sky. So we've got our pipe adapter, which is awesome and brilliant. And then we have here is our AC adapter. Um, Specs on it probably 12 volts out, I'm going to guess. See if I can spot it real quick. Output. Um, yep, I see a zero point 0.8 amp, 60 watt. So we've got 60 watt output here. Um, that's the maximum. I know the nominal usage was around 40, but you might want to plan for 60 watts if you're running it off of solar and batteries, or if you're running it off of a car inverter, which is another choice since we have this bit. Get a good 200 watt inverter or 400 watt and run it off of that. It's nice to have options because if you're treating this as emergency communications, um, you know that what will go wrong. Uh, it is um, kind of, well, it's Murphy's Law. And so I have seen it many times, many times. So here's the grand reveal. Let me go ahead and lift up the cardboard, and here is the device itself. Really, um, I never would have imagined that we would have such a small satellite receiver um, that was actually useful. When I grew up, the big satellite dishes for TV were huge, and DirecTV Dish Network came along with some smaller devices, which was really great and wonderful, and they were still bigger than this. And I'm sure there are areas where it might be useful for it to be yet bigger. Underneath that, I think you missed it. We've got a nice power cable here. Look at this. This is the DC power cable. Let me try and find one of the ends just so you can spot it. Let me go ahead and, um, yeah, I'll go ahead and slide it out of here, I guess. But this feels like a nice sturdy cable. Um, One thing that I will say, it seems to me that SpaceX has done well is they haven't given us cheap parts. Take a look at our barrel plug here. You notice these unusual rubber flanges there. Well, I think you can kind of see here, it is meant to go in there. And these two seals, as we push it all the way in, I'm going to go ahead and work it on in. You notice here, you can't see it now. Not sure how well you can see that. Maybe I'll tip it up a little bit. You can't see those two flanges anymore. This is part of the waterproofing strategy for this. I believe we're IP67 rated because obviously this is going to need to be outside. It's going to get rained on. It's going to get snowed on. It's going to get ice on it. It's fog. Depending on where you are, you might get splashed by water even. It's going to get exposed to the elements. And then this area right here, not sure how easy it is to pull this one out. I'm going to finagle it just a little bit and see. This is our Ethernet bypass. Now, one thing that I want to test. I moved it about a quarter inch, maybe an eighth. One thing that I want to test about it is when I plug in an Ethernet cable here, does it automatically turn off our internal switch? We have an internal Wi-Fi adapter, or I should say Wi-Fi router, that will give us Wi-Fi access just like this. Just the power plug, whether it's this or 12 volt or USB-C adapter, um, power it up, turn it on, get it set on the phone, and boom, you are online and you've got a Wi-Fi hotspot. Now you can also mesh these with several of them, which is an interesting idea. I'm still teasing this thing out, and you'll see we've got a similar snug flange idea here to keep the elements out there. Now, I have seen that you can put a standard Ethernet cable into this. It will not be IP67 rated, and I've got to tell you, depending on your strain release, you may not be able to get it back out easily. So what I have on the way is an adapter that has these nice flanges that goes in there and comes out to a tube, which is a weather protected barrier around where we could put a regular Cat 45 cable and connect that. And so in my case, I've got a 100-foot Cat 45 on the way. I've got that adapter on the way. I've got the adapter for the tripod mount on the way. And I've even got the USB-C and the 12 volt vehicle adapters on the way because I want to have some options. I want to have um, the ability to power this almost no matter what, as long as we've got something that can put out some power. All right, we are back at it. One of the things that made me stop last night is I wanted to ask Starlink support some questions about activation and switching between accounts. The residential account right now, they were advertising as being free until the end of the year in the area affected by Hurricane Helene. And I was going to loan this unit to a place that needed some internet quickly before their cable service has restored coverage. And I wanted to know if I could switch between that and Rome. I was informed that the Mini will not register as a residential account, and so they have extended the free offer until the end of the year to the minis as well. And so I'm supposedly going to walk through that process now. We'll see. Please activate. Um, please activate your service is where we're at right now. See, I'm going through it on the app on the phone. The app, by the way, does a really good job at. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but the app does a really good job at guiding you through lining it up correctly. We looked a little bit last night at getting a good clear view of the sky um, and making sure you didn't have obstructions to the north. And just now I got it aligned. That's why it's kind of propped on a cardboard box there to get it aligned just right. I'm going to move this off camera while I create a new account. Now, I did get this handy dandy adapter for a tripod, which for the life of me I can't figure out right now. I'll have to look at in the daylight at some point here very soon. But right this minute, I couldn't sort this out. It also came with a mount for a pipe fitting, which I also was looking at, and I think the prop may need to come loose, but I'm a little reluctant to tinker with it. I'm concerned I might break it, and so I really will have to take another pass at that, and we'll give you another update on how that goes, so that you don't run into the same challenges that I just did trying to get it out. So anyway, okay, so we're connected to the Starlink. I guess we can rename them if we have multiple. Determining alignment and adjustment may be necessary in a moment for best performance. We've got a big red indicator to activate Starlink now. Internet access will be restricted in 60 minutes if Starlink is not activated. Wi-Fi is not configured. We can do passwords and things like that. We've got a software update that's already downloading. So we are connected to the internet, even though it's a limited kind of a sandbox situation where we can't do much right now. Our ping success right now is 53% over the last 3 minutes. Latency about 60 milliseconds, just a little under that. 1 megabit per second download. Um, 2 outages of 2 seconds in the last 2 minutes. Um, it's very possible that we're in a sandbox right now, and we're not going to get good statistics until we have a subscription activated. And so these are not necessarily official numbers. Here it shows my phone is being connected to the wireless router there. We can add trusted nodes. I'm going to guess that might be for mesh setup. I don't know. Let's see. Obstructions. Let me try align Starlink. Let's see what we've got. The tilt is incorrect. Make sure that it's mounted correctly. And that the kickstand is set up on flat ground. Well, I am running on the hood of the car, which has a slope to it. Let me see if I can reposition a little bit to get it in a lower angle. Come around this way, and we'll just see, because the angle of the vehicle is probably close to the natural prop of the device itself. Let's see what it thinks now. Starlink tilt is incorrect. Um, Let me reposition a little more that way. Starlink is aligned. So it guides you as you work it to the correct alignment. Let me bring that kickstand back out. Let's see what we've got there. I got to tell you, this really definitely beats what I remember seeing for some of the satellite dish setups at one point in time. I may need something to prop under it to just keep it aligned. All right, so we've got good alignment. We'll do the check for obstructions again, I guess. Oh, no, I don't want to have to use my phone. My phone's propping it up right now to get our alignment. We're still downloading. Let's see if our statistics got any better. Ping success is better. We're at 86%. I don't know if you can see all this. Latency 46 milliseconds. Still 1 megabit per second. Looks like we've got some good stats in the app. That's going to be fun. We could probably do a speed test. Look at that. We're getting some speeds around 100 megabit per second. Looks pretty good. Nice solid download rate. Now the advanced speed test, does that give us an upload rate? Yeah, that's going to give us an upload rate, and it's going to distinguish between the Wi-Fi and the Starlink speed, which, yeah, this is really good. It's going to potentially be really helpful to identify bottlenecks. I'm wondering if I'm positioned a little too much in the way. I could be causing some obstructions here, I suppose. I may need to redo this test at a different site and just see. But here comes our upload. Wow! Look at our initial upload rate. Oh, that's the Wi-Fi. Sorry about that. We're not to upload yet. So our bottleneck right now is the satellite link, but 40 megabit per second is still pretty respectable. I don't know, not sure why we pulled a little over twice that in our initial test. And then our upload rate, yeah, looks like we pretty much stayed around the 40 megabit per second range. really and truly awesome stuff. We can do some real-time feedback in the app. That's pretty neat. We've got a settings area, which looks like we can play around with contents filtering the wireless ID name. We could probably password protect there. Um, we can set our custom DNS, bypass mode, or factory reset. Um, let's see, what else have we got that's good? Oh, we do have an update. I'll go ahead and tell it to install the update. And it's about to reboot. So it'll reboot and take care of that. I'm holding off on the activate until I have the answers to a few questions that I have from Starlink support about changing locations and or changing from the residential to the roam and back. I've seen some things in the forums that you cannot change this one direction after it has been set up, that you are committed. And I want to make sure I get the official answer rather than a 3 month, 5 month old forum answer before I do that. But really and truly, this is showing some good potential for download speeds. Um, I'll update this and do a complete piece together video once I get those answers, probably tomorrow. Their customer support ends around 7 Eastern time. Um, looks like every day. I missed the time that it opens, but I presume probably 8 or 9 o'clock, and then until 7 in the evening. So awesome, very good stuff. We're disconnected, of course, while it's installing its update. I'm going to let it do that before I tear things down here and call it a night. And then we'll probably do another test that might be a daytime test, calculating orientation, determining alignment, and we've still got our big red warning to activate. We have limited internet in the meantime, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if I pull away from this and do just a test and I get a web page. Yep, I just pulled up a web page. Let me do something brand new. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. 1, 2, 3. So we do actually have internet running over this right now, even though it is a little limited and it's not activated. Now, that'll be the next spot. And
This clip I have here is actually outdoors. It's where I am on site setting this up, getting ready to mount it on the tripod there. And I've got a third-party adapter for the Ethernet cable to help keep it weatherproof. And so you'll get a good look at that here. Got a little video clip here of the adapter I've got to a longer Ethernet cable. It keeps it weatherproof. It's got the same flanges on there like the original does and like the plug does to help keep that IP67 rated. So it's a nice snug fit there. And then this little barrel, our connection is actually all the way up here, and so you get these two bits over the cable before you snap it in place and then screw them on. And there's a little foam plug that goes in place there, and so that should give us a nice long Ethernet cable to it. The tilt stand that came with it, I struggled getting it loose at first, but there are two little releases if you look close, the little teeth right there and there. And so if you just pinch and kind of pull up like that, they disengage and you slide that out. And so then our mount can go in that area right there. I'm going to wait until I get the power line into it, but that's kind of an update there. After this, I did take it on site, as I guess that last clip I was setting it up there. We had a little bit of an obstructed view. There was one tree that if I had had a chainsaw would have been at risk of getting cut down just because it was right in the way of our location. This facility that I was at is a location that could get some foot traffic because it's near a hiking trail. We wanted to place the Starlink in an area that was not obvious, and so we had some limited options on placement. And 100-foot cable, I had to uplink to their router to make all of this work to get them online for the period of time, and it did help them out greatly. Inside the building, we only managed about 40 to 50 megabit per second with a 4 meg upload. Probably could have done better. I don't know if our router might be a bottleneck there. Um, but we did run it off of an internal router. So your mileage will vary. Of course, I also had a camera running on the connection because I wanted a security camera pointed at it in case somebody did notice it and decide to walk off. I could at least get a picture of them as they were going away. Starlink does not have a great method for tracking a missing Starlink. You can see if somebody's trying to use it. It is geofenced, so in theory you couldn't use it far from the location that you've sighted it at. But anyway, um, it did pretty well. I was surprised how much data they put through it in just about a week, a little under a week. I think it was 40 gig of data. That does include the camera streaming, any motion events and any times that I checked into it. Probably several workstations trying to get Windows updates. I specifically tried to prune services on some of the machines there to keep them from doing a lot of internet access. And I think there may have only been one or two people in office in that time. Um, so it was a lot of data usage for just a little bit of time. Um, but in any case, it's a good option. I'm glad to have it in my toolkit. Um, there are a lot of accessories. You can find some good prices on third-party accessories. The mount for the tripod, for instance, the adapter for the Ethernet cable, the power adapter for a cigarette lighter plug, 12 volt. All of those I got third party at a really good price compared to directly through the Starlink store. And they do have good waterproofing to them for those. So anyway, I'm hoping you enjoyed it. Make sure you like and subscribe and drop a comment here if you have experience with Starlink. Um, if you know of other alternatives, I know there are a couple others that are getting started up in the satellite internet service arena. Um, if you've got experience with any of those, let me know. If you have experience with any other emergency backups, that would be great. Tell us about it. I know another client of mine has a 5G cell service backup that we're testing right now, which I'm not convinced is as good a choice as something like Starlink, just because it does rely on something terrestrial, something attached to the ground, which, as we've seen in our recent disaster, really, that's a lot of possibility for things to not work. But in any case, you all take care, and I will check in with you later.